council back into session on it. We are now on budget 2013 schedule and binders to the agenda. I think we probably ought to start out with the commissioners to begin with. That seems to have the most changes scheduled. That's the one I usually get brain dead of when we start looking at it by the time we go through all the rest of it.
Jed, now this commissioner's budget, we've had stuff taken out and added back and forth. Are you comfortable with where it's at today?
Well, I was until I got the email from Don about the 3,000, but I showed him that the last I thought he gave me didn't have it in there, and I thought he was going to put it either in Denny's budget or let the sheriff should pay for it out of
Well, if you're
building.
only 3,000.
Yeah. It's not going to make or break it, and he said to just leave it alone, and the sheriff should really take care of his own snow removal at the jail.
Well,
But-
I wondered about that when he brought that up in the first place.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way he left it at the meeting the other day, other than he being Don gets the calls and complaints.
Sure.
So he can pass that along to Sheriff Hodges.
They've got funds.
The only other thing was, we spoke the other day with Advanced Imaging, we did the equipment, maintenance and lease. We only had it at 20 and we put it to 60, just because we know that it's running about 13 or 14,000 a quarter for the printing, lease with Advanced Imaging. That was the other note I had on, the commissioner's budget from the last time we've met.
Okay, I'm cross-referencing what you
Okay,
took out of the
sure.
commissioner's budget,
No, that's fine,
and you
please
put
do.
it on this gadget. The, like FICA Medicare, you did present us last time, the budget we saw, what was 375,000, but when you put it over in this gadget, you did 396,000.
Okay, those, and you'll see that the longevity got
Unemployment.
increased too, because those were final figures from payroll department of what it was gonna be. With the changes to not the longevity, but with the pay increases.
And unemployment was 20, but doubled, and is now 40. And that is
I thought it was
17,400.
I'm not sure on that one.
I mean, I know that you were trying to meet a number, but I don't want to artificially inflate anything when we really might be able to
Put
put,
it right there. Which one was it, Paula?
17,400 unemployment was 20, it's now 40.
We took it from 40 to 20, but we used 31,000. That's the only note I have to myself. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, see here it was, this is the way it used to be.
Well, you're in 2012 budget, 40,000, 2013 adopted
20,
budget, 20,000.
And now here we're back out to 40. So, I mean, I'm just wanting to point that out because I think we as a board should be aware of these changes, and even though it's on something like this and not in our book, doesn't mean it's not as important as any of these other ones.
Well, they spent 31 in 2011, it'd be hard to take it down to 20.
Yeah, that's just what was presented last time. I mean, if unemployment insurance needs to be at 35 or 40, then I think we just need to decide that, because the last time we looked at it, it was at 20, and we're okay with it.
Do you have the one where liability and property insurance went up to 200,000 after we got the Star insurance bill? Or do you still have it at 10?
32005, liability and property
So it's
insurance.
10.
It was 10, but I had it line out, and said to move it to 200,000.
Okay,
That's
because
what
I
I
have
got.
that too. I'm trying to just get to the right one where we spoke in the commissioners and spoke here.
You got Cobra at 500 too.
An increase in the Cobra, yeah.
And I have it marked out and put 1500 and a check mark beside it.
So maybe, that would be another number that could be derived from payroll because you have how many people on Cobra. I can understand that increasing, but it just, I mean, boom, right there, you're talking 50, you know, $45,000 in just that first salary and wages area. That is different than what it was when we were looking at the book.
But I'm not sure where the 396 came from. I have all those marked out and those numbers put in there from a report ran on 6/13. And I'm going to go back to what Don gave me now because I'm not sure.
Commissioner, you got this budget memorized?
I just took it out to my truck. No.
So are we moving that unemployment back up to 40?
Don, they're questioning and I see that on your last one that you did too. We bumped up some things under wages, like FICA, Medicare, but that's straight off the report. The only note I had on there was the snow removal and the 60,000 to advance. But I have 396, 296, 40, and 1,500 from yours.
I guess I can't respond because I think those numbers came from you, did they not?
Yeah, that's what I.
Okay, that was my thoughts on that.
And I'm sure it was
The
payroll runs.
one place that, I don't remember who I was talking to yesterday, what do you show in the commissioner's budget for office supplies?
25,000.
And see, mine still had 75,000. So I thought, well, there's a good place to cut 50,000 right there. And it was left in just for that reason, so that we could find room. So I just don't know what happened, that you didn't get my final budget. I just don't know what happened.
And now, and also on supplies, there's a request. 75,000 was the total commissioners. When I added all the 2,000s up, it was 69,500.
Did you include the 25,000
Yes, I
for the
did.
commissioner? See, I didn't get that. I came over 21,000. So you
Did
must
you?
not account, yeah. I came that, now, I don't know, did you take the office supply amounts that we cut? Like for prosecutor and 4D, they were at 6,000, but we marked them down to
Up
2,000?
to?
Did you pick up the 2,000 or did you pick up the 6,000?
I can't say, I don't have the table.
I picked up the 6,000 because I wanted to see what they budgeted to see which direction it would save us money. And I showed that we were like $21,000 higher this way. But the way to combat that is to go into these individual budgets, the one that seemed high, knock those down a little bit, and try and come up with 21,000 so that we're not increasing our office supplies by 21,000.
And that's why, and I'm pretty sure I used the 25 that was in the commissioners to come up with 69,500. Because it was one of the first numbers. But you came up with 21,000 over.
I came up with a total. Now it's 97,950. It was 75,000. It's a $22,950 increase in office supplies.
I didn't get that.
And I can give you my worksheet.
Even taking the 25 off. Did you break down which departments have what?
I just flipped through the book, but it should be in order of the book.
Okay.
The only other real big one too that I'm finding is equipment and maintenance. In the commissioner's budget, it was 20,000, and now it's popped up to 60,000.
I just talked about that.
Oh, you did?
Wasn't it listed?
Sorry, I was reading.
No, that's okay. George brought it up the other day due to the contract with Advanced Imaging. that it's about 14,000, 14 something, it was 14.7 the first quarter, so I just
Okay.
quadrupled that to accommodate that. The only thing it will be was, it'll shoot down the supplies a little bit, because all the ink cartridges, toners and all that will come out of that instead of being out of your supplies again.
And then, the legal services popped up $25,000.
I already overstated for the year due to the tort claims at the jail, and I'm not sure. It needs to, it has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I understand your reasoning and everything, but instead of making us search through this, I mean, it really, I think the way that I would do it, and I've sat through, whenever auditors do budgets, I usually sat with these guys, is you have a list and you say, you know, there's been a request by the commissioners to increase this budget by this amount. And then we can address those that way if it's different from what we were originally given, instead of trying to,
The only budgets that changed from the last time would be the commissioner's budget.
okay.
So there's no, you don't have to look in the auditor, anybody else.
What about the highway, the reduction of the 100,000?
Oh, yeah, Cadget, sorry.
Okay.
Yes. That was it. I didn't want to do the Cadget, but yes, that's it. And the only other question I had when I was putting it from Gateway into budget was, I didn't have a note and I didn't have it crossed out in reassessment, was for the deputy assessor. Are we gonna not fill the position but leave the money appropriated? Or are we gonna take that totally out of there? I didn't have a note and it was still sitting in 234, well, reassessment.
Well, I think when we get to her budget, we'll talk about that, right?
Okay, well, that was just the other change. You said the note changes. And
Oh,
there was
okay.
another one that I had
Okay.
that I didn't see what we did with it. Other than that, I have nothing
We're
else.
here on legal services, we're gonna leave it at 100 or put it back to 75?
It's your call.
Okay, 30009.
Yeah. But in the book, it's 75.
I mean, if there's, things happen, they may not happen every year, I mean, that,
Right, they can come to council and say,
we may run over that this year because of some claims at the jail, but that doesn't mean they will next year.
What does the tort claims average out for the jail? Anybody know?
They're 20,
Here's where I see the difference. The difference is in trying to save I'm guessing, this is not a decision that was made by anybody I'm aware of, but it looks like in an effort to save money on insurance, we raised the deductible for the jail claims up to $25,000. So the county now has to pay the first $25,000 towards jail claims, and my guess is jail claims are up, but I don't know. I mean,
we paid 4 out so far, and we have two more Ziegler said yesterday.
I don't know. I mean, I know there was, I'm not gonna say it, because I don't have, my memory's not that great. I just know that that's the whole deal with that line is all this deductible we have to pay now. We probably could eliminate that by changing the insurance plan, but I'm sure we're gonna pay anyways.
Yeah.
Our legal services, we just pay an hourly rate, we're not under contract to pay so much a year, it's just by what they do, right?
Right, sir. If you're talking about our attorney, it's by the hour. But
But I know, okay,
I don't know if there's a retainer, but I don't think so.
but I don't think you're talking about something else.
Yeah, I know. But isn't that in that same?
Right, okay, if we have a tort claim against the jail for something that happened, and I'll use, for instance, the incidents with the person being tased that should not have been tased or whatever. Instead of going to court and paying all the attorney fees and fines and stuff, our county insurance allows us to pay $25,000. I'm saying that right, Don?
We have a $25,000 deductible.
And so we
I mean,
chose
that's
just
the
to
best way
pay
to
the
put it.
25,000. We've had that hit 3 times this year. So between that and another one that was still ongoing from 2010 for an individual, And one that got cleaned up from 2011, that's what all the money's been spent
Okay,
on.
but that's what this legal services is for that.
Right.
So that's not where he gets paid out of for his
No, that's
other.
why I was
Oh, okay, that's why I was
clarifying
confused.
That's just that's a bad name for that account, truthfully.
Yeah, I don't know what else to.
It should be deductible.
So then, where's his come out of then? Where do we pay Dan Sigler for,
Attorney fees,
but is that got a line item?
You know, I'm
I think
not gonna say for sure.
It's definitely in commissioners.
Yeah, it's definitely in the
And it
commissioners.
might be out of legal fees too.
We even had, I saw in the commissioners, claims here a while back, we had to pay attorney fees for like planning commission or something too. Do you remember what that was, Jim?
I think it was something that you
I
guys said
questioned
for the
about
win.
why in the world did why did we pay them? Nonetheless, it's gotta be paid, so it doesn't make much difference.
They have their own line item for that, Don, up at planning.
Yeah, they do have.
And that's what I sent it back to him. I said, are you sure we had to pay for this out of the commissioner's, thing? And I don't know what the answer was, so.
Do you think it was that ground rules study that a number of different agencies helped fund?
I'm sorry, I don't mean, it was a $250 claim.
Oh.
That's all I can remember, and I questioned why out of the commissioner's budget, we paid that law firm. Well, folks, I hope you have a great day. I got to go. See y'all.
Have a good one.
Any other questions on the commissioner's portion?
I guess the only question I have, are we leaving it like this paper,
I was gonna say, you guys need to let me know,
or
are
are
we
we
changing
gonna
it?
cut?
You can cut it.
I think at legal services, we could set it back to 75.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
30
We're going to Cadget.
3000.
Yeah, we're on
Yes.
the certified shares.
I don't know.
Then this unemployment went from 20 to 40, what about that? I mean, are we gonna leave that 40 or?
We paid out 31,000, oh, sorry.
If you've already paid out 31,
Well, that was what was paid in 2011.
Yep.
oh,
Hold on just a minute.
And it was 40.
Yeah.
So, I somehow got changed to 20 and now back to 40.
40.
What have we paid off to date on that?
I don't have anything paid out of it.
You want me to check?
maybe that's why we moved it down to 20.
Yeah, 17400 through 95, there's been no appropriations taken out of it.
Well, then we should put it back to 20 then, shouldn't we, probably where it was?
Maybe that's what you saw, and that's why you reduced it down to 20 to begin with.
You got $500 additional in Cobra.
And I don't think that we need that.
So make that 1,000 then?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with unemployment? Take it to 20 or not?
I'm putting it at 20 for
I
now.
put it at 20.
I'm writing in blue too. It's today's date.
I hope. That's what I signed everything on.
And we're making the legal services 75.
Yes.
And the other thing that I questioned, I wrote out to the side, I don't know if it showed on yours, was that 27001 was for educational supplies for the youth improvement services, or, what's it called?
Troy
Center.
Center.
Troy Center. I don't know how we're gonna do that if I don't know if we'll be able to do what we did last year with them becoming accredited.
Credited.
Right, I don't know if we'll be able to make that donation. We'll have to find out later, but I was guessing you wanted to leave that in there, but it was a question that came up. Can we give that money to them?
I'd leave it in there till we see what we can do.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't know what monies they can accept and what they can't, so that was just another something.